Okay, I'd like to just say thank you ever so much to Marny for joining us today. And thank you ever so much for saying yes when I messaged you on Facebook. And I tracked you down after reading your book, Burnout to Brilliance. So let me first introduce you. So, Marny, you're a health and community psychologist, an author, well-being and mindset coach, keynote speaker, media commentator, and you are the Nine News Perth resident psychologist.
Yes.
So a huge array of things that you've got going on. Is that what's happening for you still right now?
Yes. So yeah, I have quite a diverse career. I like to do lots of different things. So I've got my hands in or fingers in lots of different pies, which makes everything very interesting for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I just want to tell just a little bit of a story about how we got together. So
Yes.
I was in crisis 6 months ago, and I happened to go into the library and I was looking at, mindset books to support me. And there was your book. And the title of your book was exactly where I wanted to be. It said Burnout to Brilliant. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's where I want to go. And so I
Mm.
grabbed the book, and then just opening the book, it so resonated with me exactly. It made me feel I was on track because I was at that stage stop where you'd sit and you had said, you had these different chapters outlining the strategies of moving forward through recovery. And I was in that stop reflective place, but I was also looking at bringing in all these other elements that you touched on, where you were touching on being grateful, practicing change, bringing in healthy habits, all these different things which I was already focusing on, having fun,
Yeah.
and anyway, there's just so many things about your book that so resonated with me, that I just wanted to, have a proper chat and find out how you got to write the book, and then maybe we could come up with some different things a bit later on to support other people like me in that journey of recovery from burnt
Yeah.
outness. So
Yeah.
could you first of all, do you want to tell us how you came to write the book? Why did you write the book?
I think you really summed it up there because I guess, you're certainly not alone, are you, in what you've gone through? And I think I've seen so many people over the years who have felt in a similar way. And that's why I wrote the book, because I found that, because I just love writing, and I want to even learn to be a better writer in books coming, that it will be coming out in the future and things like that. But I thought, if I was going to start writing, what is the main thing? What is the main theme? What are the main issues that I'm seeing in the busy clients that I work with? And is burnout, particularly in 2024, after the last few years of crises,
Mm,
global crises. But then us just, going through our own life with our own individual adversities that we always go through, even in the best of times. I think, yeah, people are burnt out more than ever. And I thought, I want to write to that person who is absolutely exhausted, but who really deep down wants to get better and come back better than they ever were before,
mm,
but are just too
mm.
exhausted right now. That's who I wanted to write to. And I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I wanted to talk to people like I do when I'm working with them. And I hope that kind of came through.
Yeah, it was uncanny for me how it was so simple. It was just simple,
Yes. Yeah.
accessible, and it was really exactly where I was. It was like I, really felt, oh my gosh, I was so excited. That's why I tracked you down on Facebook and then messaged you to see if
Yeah.
you'd come on to the radio show. So just to get to, how did you section it out? Like with your format of the
Yeah.
writing of the book, how did you go through that? Is that the same formula that you use when you're working with your clients?
Yeah. I guess, like with lots of authors, we start with an idea and then it becomes bigger than Ben-Hur and then gets really messy in our minds. And then we're like, oh, I don't want to, I'm never going to be a good writer and I'm never going to get this book finished. But I had to stop and kind of, because I just had like this massive book that I'd written. And really, as a previous academic, massively overcomplicated things like we do.
mm,
And then I sat there and I was
mm,
like, no, stop. What are the steps that you go through when you have a client that is so burnt out in front of you? So I actually
mm,
had to back completely all the waffle that I did and
mm,
all the research I'd done and go, no, come to the person, speak to that person, and there's steps. So that's why you would have seen straight away I said, stop.
mm,
I'm not going to
mm.
sit here and do, therapy on you when you've got no energy at all to even do anything. I'm not going to design your life alongside of you and create new things and come back better than ever when you have no energy to do that. So you will see that I kind of ordered it in such a way that I would if I was a client, working with a
Mm,
client.
mm,
So
mm.
that's how it came to be, is just these simple steps, not to tell people what to do, but to just get them to think about, oh, maybe I need to start doing that, or, maybe that's the next step after this one, and almost get excited as you go through the steps to say, hey, I'm going to do things differently going forward. I'm not going to
Mm.
do what I was doing before that got me burnt out. I'm going to come back better than I was before.
Yes, and that's what I think was really excited me. I think was just the title, and I then said to you, "I'm going to nick your title for my radio show," because it's such a because when you're in, when you're in that sort of crisis, just it gave me hope, that
Yes.
I can get to, I can
Yeah.
use this crisis time and learn, and
Yeah.
um, the
Yeah.
stop the stop part was so important because when you're spinning out, you're sort of in that state where you're like, how did I get here? And to
Yeah.
have the time
Exactly.
to actually really self-reflect, to look,
Mm.
what were all the things that built up to this place that I'm now in? And then there's that
Mm.
huge fear that you don't want to get back there or stay there because it's an awful place to be. And
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
then with the strategies that you've got in place, which were really common sense, so
Yeah.
common sense and so accessible, and everyone can do them. It's not like you've got to be
Exactly.
a um, you know neuroscientist or anything. It's just
No,
really is common sense stuff.
it
And
is.
I it was, yeah, so let's go through that. But let's first of all, let's just take a quick break. I just was going to ask you, um what when you're one of the things which I'm going to do as a thing throughout the radio show is to ask my guests to give me a song or something that resonates with them to help them put them in a good place. And so we'll just take a quick break, and I'm going to put that song on.
Okay.
And you chose an 80s song that gives you that, like a dance, or just to
Yes.
put you in a good frame of mind, which was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with You. So we're going to share that now. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and go through some strategies.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Welcome back, Marnie. That was such a great track. I'm sure lots of people will resonate with that song. And
Yes.
I'm just going to just make sure that we're not going to run out of time. So let's go through the next step. So we had stop, which was giving you that time to um, what I found for me when I was so lucky because I was able to stop because I was supported through my workplace to actually have
Mm.
time to actually stop, and was literally told stop.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about work, nothing, just take 6 weeks. I had a block of 6 weeks, and it was luxurious, just
Yeah.
to not be panicking like I was panicking, oh my God, I've got to get back in. I was The thought of working was, I'd already tried to go back into work and then it collapsed again. And just to have that time where gave myself 6 weeks block. And I tried to pretend that I was on a retreat, although I was at home, and I organised to go to my local aquatic centre to do as many classes as I could to see, pretend that I was on a retreat, like you do lots of different classes,
Yeah.
and to see if I could find some things that may interest me, for future I could bring into my
Yes.
life as a
Yeah.
healthy habit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I was doing meditation, yoga, as well as It was really quite busy at first, and I couldn't quite get to all of it. And then we got COVID, which impeded the whole, the practice. But it was
Yes.
that time to really, yeah, to not worry about what I'm doing, where I'm going. I decided not to think about work. I was looking after me. It was all about me. So
Well,
is that what
exactly.
you,
And
is that what inspired the stop?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because how can we think about what we truly want to do going forward in life or next in life when we're in a place of stress and fatigue and sometimes negativity? Because burnout, makes you negative, doesn't it? It makes you cynical about your probably work and people around you, and you start withdrawing. So how can you create something really exciting? And how can you design a super awesome life when you're in that state? You actually can't. So you have to
Mm,
stop. You have to, take all that leave from work, take that break, take that sick leave, hand over, take off as many hats that you wear in society and give them to someone else for a while. And
mm,
I think what you said, in some ways, I think it's better to kind of stay at home than go off on a retreat, because it enables you to start figuring out what you need to be your best self and incorporating them into your life slowly as you gain the energy back. And you're probably more likely to sustain that over time because you're in your own
mm,
environment. Whereas if
mm,
you're off on a retreat and you've got, everyone helping you and you can, you're in a different environment, how are you going to incorporate that into your life coming back?
mm,
So yes,
mm,
it is thinking about, what do I need to be my best self, and either bringing
mm,
them into your life or bringing them back into your life slowly until
mm,
it's almost
mm.
like a renewing of sorts.
Yes, exactly. And I would, so in terms of bringing things in, so I decided to start singing classes with a local
Ah,
group. And I knew that singing was, the biggest release of endorphin, like above sex.
yes, yes.
And I'm not a singer at all. Like if anyone mentioned singing, I'd be out the door. Mentioned karaoke, I'm so running. And the thing the lady said, oh, if you sing in the bath or the shower, you're going to be fine. I'm like, no, I don't sing in the bath or the shower. But I knew that it was going to be a finding of my voice, and it was challenging me to do something different. And oh my God, it has been amazing.
Oh,
I do, it's just unbelievable. The group I joined were just these lovely people, and
yes,
I've, felt really quite shy at first, but I'm really enjoying it. It is just about having
yes,
fun, and it's with a
yes.
group of women and some blokes in our group. And we even did an open mic night last week in the local community. And I just thought it's such an
Oh,
amazing thing. Her
it
name's
is.
Dallas Holden. She does for our community, but it's just that has been something that's really been fantastic for me to
Yes,
join that singing class. Just
exactly,
on so many levels, so many levels. So that was
exactly.
just along the lines of you. What can I bring into my life that I
Yeah.
could sustain? And that is really the key, isn't it? With us juggling, like I'm a mum, I've got animals. It's being able to fit all the different things in,
Well,
and
exactly.
taking the
And
time actually really made me realize what's important.
exactly, exactly. And I think it's the time to dig deep as well, because, I'm a big realist. I feel like as a psychologist, I'm a realist. I'm not, I don't think I'm like any sort of influencer that's going to tell you to, do yoga in the, sunrise, and, everything has to be perfect. And, it's just ridiculous for me when I see things like that, because
Yeah.
there's no one size fits all approach. And that's why we all have to take that time and go, what is it my soul
Mm,
needs? Like for
mm,
some people, it might be, yeah, they're going to be they're going to benefit in life by, joining the 5 a.m. club and going to the gym. For others, it's, just a wandering with their dog, around a
mm,
park near their house. For others, it's just making sure they see their girlfriends more, for lunch every Sunday or something. For others, it's, they just want more time to read their books by themselves. Like, we have to
mm,
tap into that and not almost let other people tell us, because social media will tell us what we're supposed to do to be
mm.
mentally healthy. And I think as human beings, there are, I guess, some fundamentals like moving your body and taking time to be present and, making sure you control your thoughts and things like that. All the things I covered in my book, but really
Mm.
deep down, it needs to be very personalized and it's very subjective who we are.
Yes, I can totally get that, and just some of the things that you've mentioned there. So along the lines of all, I was just like, oh my God, this every chapter was so resonated. Being grateful, that was another
Mm,
key thing. So I
yeah,
found I've really brought that in. Every morning thinking about different things that I'm grateful for in this
yeah,
in my life. And every
yeah,
day I write down what I'm grateful for and I say it out loud and I say thank you. And that has been huge because it puts me in such a because there's so many things and it seems to get more and more and more. Like, thank you for
exactly.
you to come today to let me interview you. There's just so many things all the time. I've got a Groodle dog who, is like my adolescent toddler,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I thank the fact that I've got him in my life, as my
mm,
new baby.
yeah,
He's 2, and just walking with him, he cracks me up all the time.
yeah, yeah.
you know
And feeling that actually really just raises those vibrations, isn't it? Because our brain does tune
mm,
into the negative by default. That's the way we are. We're all about survival deep down, aren't we, as human beings? But
yeah.
yeah, you've got to actually elevate that yourself with activities because life will give you stress. It will throw that at you because that's the life that we're all
mm.
in. But it's what we do in terms of our own activities and what we look for purposefully that will balance that out.
And then one thing which I found was the self-care. I just realized my self-care was way down. There was no real
Mm.
self-care. I've actually having to write habits checklist. I fainted from stress, vagus nerve, but also from dehydration. So I've
Oh,
got an
wow.
app now for drinking water,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, just on a real basic level, I've started trying to put things in place where I actually am taking more,
Mm.
going checking up on all my medical appointments, all those just real basic things which I
Oh,
didn't get to all the time because I'm running around like a
exactly.
headless chicken, working,
Exactly.
looking after kids, looking after animals. Do you
Yes.
find that's something that comes up a lot for people
Oh,
in stress states?
yeah, all the time. I think, yeah, the world that we live in is just so hectic and I hate saying the word busy, but people are. We have so many hats that we wear and there's not enough I guess activities or behaviors that we do that are able to balance that out. So I think, yeah, the world we live in isn't the right one for, I know our mind has created the world that we live in, but I
Mm,
think a lot of us are at this point where we're like, oh, need to slow down. I need to stop. What's this all about? So I think people are reflecting as well.
mm,
And sometimes it does come back to those very simple things in life, getting outside, connecting with people you love,
mm,
relaxing more, moving your body. That's
mm.
what we're that's what we're wired to do. And I think a lot of us have been caught up in not doing that because other things become important.
Yeah, so moving forward for other people who are coming into stress, it's also like for me, I got to that place and my body was freaking. So I think I apparently, I don't know what it's called, semantic, where whatever's going on in my brain, I'm living out through my
Yeah.
body. And so
Yes.
that still is happening. And so I'm
Yeah.
still obviously in my journey of recovery, but I've
Yes.
learning to recognize that actually I have to listen to my body more because my body is
Well,
saying to me that's the state of your brain, and it's certain things obviously will trigger me more than other things, obviously. Um,
yeah.
so in terms of that, what it's the signs of stress, isn't it? What would you say
Yeah.
about that? So it's because it's realizing, there's a long build up to get to that state
Yeah.
where like I'm fainting, I'm having a heart attack,
Well,
sort of
exactly.
blah.
That's kind of the
Yeah,
extreme level, isn't it? But
yeah.
and I talk about this in the book is that this is why not just stopping when you're burnt out, but incorporating moments of stopping throughout your life, in the future is so important. So proactively scheduling that time to stop because that's where you kind of go, oh, I'm aching more than usual, or oh, I feel more tension there, or those reflective moments are where you can hear your brain and your body whispering to you. They're telling
Mm,
you something all the time. But when we're
mm,
busy and we've got a gazillion things to do on our to-do lists, we've probably been ignoring a lot of the things. So those moments, those stopping moments where you can kind of go, oh, not only, has my back always hurting? Why is my back always hurting? What do I need to do about that? What is that telling me? Or it might be, geez, I'm grumpy all the time. Like
yeah,
I'm just snapping. What's the feedback I'm getting from the people around you? Because otherwise, if we don't listen, we become sick, don't we? We either become
mm,
mentally sick or physically sick. But I
mm.
think there's a slow creep, and we need to listen to what those signals are. And yeah, our actual body and mind are telling us, they're whispering to us all the time, check this out, do something about this.
Yeah, so that's one which I've learned as well. Like exactly what you're saying. We need to be listening to ourselves. So just to round up, because we're going to have to finish the interview so soon. I will definitely
Yeah.
would, if we can, Marnie, get you back another time, and maybe we
Yes,
could focus on
yes,
a particular strategy.
yes,
But so
sure.
just moving forward for anyone else that's in the situation, it's listening to yourself,
Yes, yes.
stopping, but
Stopping.
creating stop times in your daily routine, bringing in those healthy habits,
Yeah,
exercising some gratitude, which is one of the being thankful.
yeah,
Also, the self discipline of your mind, which was one of the things you
exactly.
said about your thoughts, because we really do need to discipline those negative thought patterns, don't
We
we?
do. Yeah, yeah. Which take
Um,
which is the whole book in itself, really. Maybe something for the future for me to write. Yeah, tame those
yeah,
thoughts and
yeah,
don't suffer in silence. Yeah,
yeah, and then and find find your get your help
yes,
that you need, um,
exactly. Yeah,
and where you
for
feel
sure.
safe.
Yeah,
People to talk to. Yeah,
yeah,
find your people, I suppose, in that sense, where you can get that support.
definitely,
Is there
definitely.
anything
And
else
most
you'd
of
like to add?
all, well, most of all, I think, and I would have I entwined this through the whole book, is yeah, those emotions are so important. So really pay attention to your feeling, because that's the
Mm.
valuable information you need, that's telling you about you in your place in the world. That's the information. So listen to it. Don't ignore those feelings.
Right, yeah. So just to say, to not ignore those feelings. So say you're really, really feeling upset. So when you feel upset, it can make you feel
Yeah.
even worse because you feel so
Oh,
bad. What
yeah,
do you want
exactly.
to do with what do you want to do with those feelings? What would you say to do with those feelings when you're in that state?
Listen to them. So if you're feeling really upset, just allow, so validate. You're allowed to feel upset. Every emotion is valid. It's true for you at that particular point. So don't brush it aside. Sit in it for a moment, validate yourself, say yes, and then say to yourself, oh, be curious. Why am I feeling like this? What is going on in my life? And then if there's a point where you can kind of say, is there something I can do about it? Can I problem solve it? You can problem solve it, either communicate to someone, send that email. What do you need to do to not be upset? Or you could reinterpret it a particular way and say, and talk yourself down, maybe let the thought go. You might
Mm,
even realize that you're unhelpfully thinking something that's not quite true.
yeah,
Other times, yeah, we can't change anything and we're upset about something, but we can do something to change the way we feel, which comes down to the doing nice things for ourselves and shifting that feeling.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you've got to do
yeah.
something with it, do something with the feeling, and it will dissipate over time. Emotions don't stay with us forever.
Yes, that's the good thing about emotions, that they are fleeting and that they are emotions. They're not our, physicality.
Yes.
Marnie, I just want to say thank you ever so much for your time this morning, and really pleased to see your face and to put you to the book.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. Was so important in my life, just having found that book. And if anyone else wants to grab it, it's called Burnout to Brilliant. It really helped me on my journey, and then I'll have a chat with you after, and then maybe we can look at maybe if you do have time, maybe coming on to the radio again to discuss any other elements. But anyway, lovely to meet you,
Lovely.
and thanks again for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Marnie. So I'm just gonna, we'll finish it there, but I just want to say thanks ever so much. Was
No
that
worries.
okay?
Thank you.
Did you
Yeah,
feel we covered quite a bit there?
we did, didn't we, in that small amount of time? So that's good.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
just I'm so pleased you chose to write that book, and I think it's such a brilliant title, and it's so
Uh,
positive. That's one of
yeah.
the things which I might say when I'm, introducing it, is just for the fact that it's burnout to brilliant. It
Yes.
gave me hope because I knew I had to get there, and
Yes.
I suppose life's like that, isn't it? It's always like this,
Well,
but
it is. Yeah. But we get
yeah,
stuck sometimes in some of our crises, I think.
yeah.
And it stays there too long. So it's nice to be able to kind of, yeah, remove yourself, but then kind of almost transform because of the experience of it.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, it is actually, it is a transformation. I feel like I'm definitely in transformation and very proactive in it, and it is taking charge, that
yeah.
element where I've had to take charge in my recovery and enjoy the journey really, because
Yeah.
I've been doing some really great things,
Wonderful.
because, I've,
Awesome.
chosen to be active. But
Lovely.
anyway, thanks ever so much,
Active and
and you have a
free.
lovely
Awesome.
day.
You
And
too.
I'll share you the video after I've figured it out how to, so
Yes.
you've got a copy. Oh,
Perfect. All right.
all right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks ever so much,
Yeah.
Marnie. Next time I'll hopefully
Bye.
get you one on the radio where I actually,
Yeah,
you ring in.
anytime,
All
anytime,
right. Thanks ever so
anytime.
much. Really
All right.
appreciate it. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.